Here we are at part 3 of the Japan Mega Used PC Parts Hunt, and I've got to get my composure back because in part 2, if you haven't seen that already, I'll put the link up here, we just got deal after deal. There was just quite simply too many deals to the point where I went broke and I had no money left in my wallet. But here today in part 3, I'm setting out to complete those 2 PC builds. And so in order to do that, I still need another power supply, 2 cases, a motherboard, and also a CPU cooler. But of course, if I can find any other good deals along the way, then I'm definitely going to snag them up. And right here behind me is a place called Kantodan. We're gonna quickly check that out and see what they've got cracking inside. So stepping outside, that ended up being a complete bust for PC parts, where they had some used mechanical keyboards, but I even checked the prices online on those, and you can get them cheaper new than what you can get them in this place for. They also did have something of curiosity, but it wasn't PC related, and that was some audio interfaces. Now, I did used to flip music gear back when I lived in Japan because sometimes you could pick it up really cheap. For instance, they had a Roland Tri-Audio Capture UA33 for about $38, and then they had a M-Audio Mobile Pre, both with the boxes and software included, and that was going for $35. So usually, once upon a time, you could get them for around those prices and flip them for $100 easy, but since the suitcase is precious on travel, I do want to only fill it up with good bargains on PC parts. And also today, I'm not really concerned at all because we've got the wheels to get the deals. So let's get to the next place. So we just finished up at the first hard off that we went to, and in the past, this has probably been one of the best ones that I've been to, but this time around we came so close to at least scoring a case and a power supply. And I found this case. It had an interesting red front, but upon pulling it out, it looked like someone had kicked the side panel in, and them asking 10 bucks for a damaged case, I was just going to pass that up. But interestingly enough, they had an all-in-one Dell 27-inch monitor with a Ryzen 7 1700 built into it. Now, they were asking way too much, but it was just funny because I've never seen something like this in the wild before, and I didn't even know Dell made these all-in-one monitor PCs with first-gen Ryzen inside. But other than that, the SSDs and the DDR3 memory and stuff like that, it was all pretty much overpriced here. So we're gonna head on to the next place and hopefully we can get lucky. So going into this next place, I went here over a year ago, and in the past I have found some deals on PC parts, but the problem this time around is that they had nothing, and I mean nothing PC at all. So between this time and sometime last year, they must have just rage quit and done a fire sale on all their PC components. And that goes to show, I mean, I'm guessing some of the other places will start to follow this trend, but it's a sad thing because all they have to really do is drop their prices and make them fair to begin with, and people will start buying some of the stuff they have. Because a lot of these prices I'm seeing on SSDs and memory and just everything in general is just not even overpriced, it's just way too out of the realm of normal, especially for used parts. But don't worry guys, I'm giving this the best shot I have. So I just got out of this hard off and I scored big time with 2 of the components I'm going to need for a build. And this is a Delta Electronics 500 watt power supply. Now it is untested, but it's only $5. And in the past, I've had very good success with these power supplies. Then for the case, we've got this Dell XPS Studio case here. And I was very curious about it because it just looks really nice. Like, even though it's a little bit dirty at the moment, I feel like I could bring this up pretty well. So we got both of these for $5 each, which was really good considering I'm going to be using these in the cheaper of the two builds that I'm going to be doing. So that's two components out of the way. And then we've got right over here an Acer 24-inch monitor. I absolutely love this because it was my old main monitor that I used to use. It's got a glossy screen, very low input lag, and it's got CCFL backlighting. And we got that for around $60. So we got some really good deals at this place, and I'm gonna keep on moving to the next. So now I've stepped out of probably my favorite PC depot in the past, and this time around they had absolutely nothing except for an i7-4770 and a Z270 motherboard. And even then, they wanted like $350 for this Z270 motherboard. So it's pretty crazy how time has changed these places where in the past, this PC depot had so many good deals to the point where sometimes I had to pass up the deals because I didn't even have enough money to buy all the stuff I wanted to get. But we've still got two places that are pretty close by to this place that I'm going to hit up and see if they've got the cooler and the motherboard, that's what I still need to get, or if they've got any other good deals. So we just got out of this hard off here and I managed to score a Z3 Plus. This is a case with, I think it's got 4 fans pre-installed. It's a little bit old now, but I picked it up for $30 and it's still brand new in the box. So that was definitely a bonus since I do need the screws out of this, the spare ones, to use in this XPS that we've got below that. But in terms of other parts that they had going on there, like a lot of the prices were just complete bustola. And this monitor I had down here that I picked up from the other place for $60, they had it going for $80, and that one in there for $80 had a scratch on it. So we've been definitely rolling with the gut feeling, picking up the best deals as we go along. And with that said, we're gonna head on to the last place of the day. So we just came to the last destination, and it's actually quite a sad story because this is no longer a hard off where they sell and buy used parts. It's now a Gayo, which is like a place where they rent DVDs and stuff like that. So of course there were no new or used computer parts inside, but at least they had episode 3, Star Wars, in there. Though I can't help but feel that this could be the sad reality for more of these hard-offs if they kind of don't get a better business model, in my opinion. As you guys have seen here on the last 2 episodes of Parts Hunting today and Part 1, and Part 2 we went to Tokyo of course, but even then the hard-off in Tokyo, we could see that the prices just weren't competitive enough. And so just like selling used PCs, I think the best business model is high turnover. And sometimes that means making low profits, but at least you're not sitting on the same item and that item possibly devalues a lot more than when you could have flipped it for a profit. Though with that aside, I'm gonna head back to the pad now, and hopefully on the way back, we'll find one more stop. So on the way back, I found this Wonder X, and in the past I've got some good things off Wonder X, just unfortunately this time they had nothing but overpriced SSDs and hard drives. So it's time to get back to the Tech Yes headquarters and see what we can do. So here we are with the little test setup I've managed to make at the place I'm staying at, and I've done testing the power supply that we picked up today, also the power supply that we picked up on day 1, and they both work absolutely fine, which makes that 550 watt Delta that we got for $5 an absolute victory. Now, another thing too is you'll notice the monitor behind me. That is one of those monitors that I got a real soft spot for. Now, $60 for a TN panel from 2008 is probably going to sound a little bit weird, might sound a little bit too much, but for me personally, I love this monitor. It's got CCFL backlighting in it. It was one of the last of its kind, and it's also got a glossy screen coating instead of the usual matte or semi-gloss that you're used to. And I know some people don't like the gloss coatings, but for me personally, the colors just absolutely pop through this monitor. I absolutely love it. I can only imagine if companies released a glossy coating on some of the new IPS 144 Hz monitors, I'd definitely be keen to get one and have it as my main gaming monitor because they look absolutely gorgeous. Now, tallying up today's parts hunt, it was a little bit unexpected, but I did come out with some pretty good deals. So I got a $5 case, which I still have to give some tech yes loving to, and that'll be going in the cheaper of the two builds that I'll be doing. And then we got the $5 power supply, the $60 monitor, and also the $30 Zalman Z3 Plus. Now that case does come with 5 fans and it is a little bit hard to work with, but on a budget, this should be a pretty good case, especially for the money and especially since it came in brand new. So I wasn't expecting that thing to be brand new, but when the guy opened up the box for me in the store, I saw all the stickers, the clear stickers still on the case, and all the fans had absolutely no dust whatsoever on them, so I knew it was brand new. So that was a pretty good pickup, especially for everything that's going to go inside it, and it does take extended long graphics cards in that case. That was something that I looked out for, and I do believe in the past I have built in something similar. But anyway, that aside, that leaves the whole total of today's haul to $100, and I've still got to get a motherboard and a cooler to complete the other build that I've got planned. And now the funny thing was, I started looking online on the Yahoo auctions as well as Mercari, and that's the Japanese like smartphone auction site. And I could find a P67 Asus motherboard that works for about $40 or so shipped. And so that's not a bad fallback if I can't find anything in the final part 4 of tomorrow's hunt. So we're gonna be looking out for that. If I can't get anything, then I'm definitely gonna order that straight away so I can build this PC before I get out of Japan. So usually it takes around 2 to 3 days to rock up at your door. It can be quicker, sometimes it can be slower, so I do have to account for that. As for the CPU cooler, you'll have to stay tuned for part 4, where I do have a contingency plan if I don't find anything on the road tomorrow. So there is something I do have up my sleeve, one little trick, so you have to stay tuned for that one. But in terms of today, it was a bit of a success, somewhere in between part 1 and part 2, where we kind of failed on part 1 and we did absolutely amazing in part 2. Anyway guys, it's time to move on to the question of the day from J&K White, and he asks, how well does it work being a father in Australia while your child is in Japan? And that's a good question. It's something that I'm pretty transparent about, is some of the things that's happened in my personal life, and if anything, try not to make the same mistakes as me. But that aside, let's bring in our little special guest. At the end of the day, it is what it is, guys. The only thing you can keep doing is keep smiling. This is my little boy right here. He's actually reading his comic books at the moment, and I guess he just doesn't even know what it's like to make videos on YouTube. He's only 7 years old, so the whole gravity of this being my job and sort of him being here is something of a mix. But in terms of me being in Australia, I talk to him as much as I can on Skype. We do have a lot of conversations. In terms of me and my ex, we're working things out, but you guys, if you guys followed us from 2015 or 2016, you know a lot of stuff has gone down in my personal life, but those things seem to work themselves out over time. And in terms of my boy, he knows I love him, he loves us. And with that aside, I think he is pretty happy because he's going to be getting a gaming PC, some of the best stuff, especially price performance, money can buy. And I hope that answers that question for you. But if you enjoyed today's parts hunt, then you know what to do. Hit that like button for us. Also, let us know in the comments section below, what was your favorite deal of today? Also, if there's any peculiar tech products that you want me to look for, then let us know in the comments section below. I am keeping an eye out for some of those Mars cards. They're definitely high on the priority list. But besides that, I'm looking forward to piecing out this second build tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned, make sure you're subbed with that bell ringing, because this next one is going to have a whole lot of yes, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out for now. Bye.